Welcome, everyone. My name is Melinda Shelby. I'm a member of the clinical team at Aegis Sciences Corporation, and today I will be presenting novel psychoactive substance trends in 2023. The following material is not authorized for reproduction without express written consent. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. This is a brief educational webinar examining detection of novel psychoactive substances at Aegis Sciences Corporation in 2023. From this presentation, participants will be able to identify various classes of NPS and the most prevalent NPS identified for each class. Additionally, participants will be able to identify trends in NPS detection. Those who missed the live presentation or would like to hear it again may find a recording of this presentation on Aegis website at www.aegislabs.com. Please call 1-800-533-7052 if you need assistance accessing the recording. NPS are a diverse group of synthetic substances created to mimic the effects of prescription or illicit drugs that are often used non-medically. There are various classes of NPS, including designer opioids, designer benzodiazepines, synthetic cannabinoids, synthetic stimulants, hallucinogens, dissociatives, and others. NPS may change frequently as legislation to control specific chemical structures or classes of NPS is introduced. Once an NPS has been deemed a controlled substance, often new or modified, non-regulated NPS appear. This remains a challenge for regulatory and enforcement agencies, monitoring institutions, clinical and toxicology laboratories, as well as healthcare providers. In today's webinar, we present NPS detection at Aegis in 2023. At Aegis, we have a NPS other category that includes substances that do not easily fit within other designated NPS classifications. This group currently consists of xylazine, tianeptine, phenibut, and medetomidine, which was added to NPS testing in September of 2023. Arguably, the most interesting story of NPS in 2023 is xylazine. Xylazine continues to be the predominant NPS detected in the NPS other category, but in 2023, it became the most prevalent NPS detected at Aegis, irrespective of NPS classification. The prevalence of xylazine and its metabolite 4-hydroxyxylazine are shown here. Xylazine detection at Aegis increased throughout 2022. In 2023, prevalence of xylazine and its metabolite continued to increase from January to April, followed by a sharp increase from April to May. For the remainder of 2023, detection stayed high but fluctuated somewhat. Prevalence of additional compounds in the NPS other category in 2023 are shown here. Phenibut, shown in the graph in purple, is a synthetic form of the neurotransmitter GABA and is typically used for anxiolytic and psychotropic effects. Phenibut detection in 2023 fluctuated throughout the year, but ended at a similar level in which it began. Tianeptine, also known as gas station heroin, is structurally related to tricyclic antidepressants and is a prescription drug used as an antidepressant in Europe, but it is not approved by the FDA for medical use. Tianeptine has activity at opioid receptors and has recently been in the news as various states are scheduling it as a controlled substance. Otherwise, it has been sold as a supplement in the U.S. and has been legal in many states. Tianeptine detection averaged 30% more in the second half of 2023 compared to that in the first half. In September of 2023, tianeptine metabolite MC5, shown in orange, was added to NPS testing at Aegis. Interestingly, in approximately 33% of the tianeptine positive samples, both tianeptine and its metabolite were detected, whereas 38% were positive only for tianeptine and 29% were positive only for tianeptine MC5. This indicates the importance of including the metabolite in NPS testing for tianeptine. Medetomidine and its metabolite 3-hydroxymedetomidine were also added to NPS testing in September. Medetomidine has been approved for medical use by the FDA and is available in both veterinary and human pharmaceutical formulations. However, like xylazine, medetomidine has been detected as an adulterant in the illicit drug supply. Remarkably, Of samples positive for medetomidine in 2023, nearly 98% were also positive for xylazine. Unlike xylazine, though, medetomidine detection has been mostly regional, with detections occurring mainly in Maryland and Kentucky. The prevalence of the top designer opioids detected in 2023 is shown here. The most prevalent designer opioid, fluorofentanyl, is often detected with despropionyl fluorofentanyl, which may be either a metabolite of fluorofentanyl or a process impurity. Fluorofentanyl has been the most frequently detected NPS among all NPS classes tested for at least 2 years. However, by April of 2023, xylazine overtook it as the most prevalent NPS detected at Aegis, irrespective of NPS class. And this continued through the remainder of the year, with fluorofentanyl being the second most frequently detected NPS. Despropionyl fluorofentanyl detection followed along with that of fluorofentanyl, but at approximately 70% of its detection level. In 2019, there were class-wide bans on fentanyl-related substances in both the United States and China that impacted the availability of this type of designer opioid. In 2022, a rise in detection of nitazene compounds occurred, with 4-hydroxynitazene becoming the third most prevalent designer opioid marker detected at Aegis, followed closely by metanitazene. This trend continued in 2023, with 4-hydroxynitazene and metanitazene again being third and fourth most prevalent designer opioids detected, respectively. 4-hydroxynitazene has been identified as a universal metabolite of nitazene analogs containing a 5-nitro group, N,N-diethylamine, and an associated phenyl ether. This includes isotonitazene, metanitazene, etonitazene, protonitazene, and butonitazene, all of which have been temporarily placed in Schedule 1 of the CSA as of April of 2022. In Aegis testing, 4-hydroxynitazene has predominantly been detected alone or in combination with metanitazene, but it has also been detected with other parent nitazene analogs. The fifth most prevalent designer opioid in 2023 was despropionyl bromofentanyl, which saw increases in 2022 that continued in 2023, with detection being greater in the second half of 2023. The prevalence of other designer opioids detected in 2023 is shown here. Detection of norcarfentanyl is one of the more interesting results in designer opioids in 2023. Norcarfentanyl is a shared metabolite of carfentanyl and remifentanyl, and until recently had very minor detection in prior years. In 2023, norcarfentanyl, shown in the graph in coral, was detected in every month other than April. Detection was minimal in the first part of the year, but increased significantly in the fourth quarter, such that it reached sixth most prevalent designer opioid in 2023. Valerial carboxymetabolite, N-diethyl isotonitazene, benzylfentanyl, and acrylfentanyl were all detected in every month of 2023. Detection of Valerial carboxymetabolite, shown third from the top in blue, increased from 2022 to 2023, yet it dropped in prevalence from fifth most prevalent in 2022 to eighth most prevalent in 2023. Detection of acrylfentanyl, shown at the bottom of the graph in purple, also increased in 2023 compared to 2022, with detection in the second half of 2023 being approximately threefold greater than that of the first half. Benzylfentanyl detection, shown at the bottom of the graph in pink, fluctuated a bit throughout the year but was fairly steady. A number of nitazene analog analytes were added to Aegis designer opioid testing in September of 2023, including N-pyrrolidino 4-hydroxynitazene, N-diethyl etonitazene, N-pyrrolidino metanitazene, and N-pyrrolidino protonitazene, and all were newly detected in the second half of 2023. N-pyrrolidino 4-hydroxynitazene, shown at the top of the graph in yellow, was detected so frequently that it became the seventh most prevalent designer opioid detected in 2023. It is likely that as 4-hydroxynitazine is a universal metabolite for nitazene compounds with certain structural characteristics, that impirrolidino 4-hydroxynitazine will be a universal metabolite for the pyrrolidino form of those same nitazines. The prevalence of the top designer benzodiazepines detected in 2023 is shown here. These compounds were also the top designer benzodiazepines detected in 2022, with clonazepam and metabolite being the most prevalent, followed by flualprazolam and metabolite. However, from September of 2022 through the end of the year, there was an overall decrease in detection of 3 of the 4 top designer benzodiazepines, the exception being bromazolam, which continued to increase. Interestingly, as of December of 2022, the DEA temporarily placed clonazepam, etizolam, flualprazolam, flubromazolam, and diclazepam in Schedule 1 of the CSA, but did not include bromazolam. Bromazolam detection ended the year with an overall increase in detection and was the most prevalent designer benzodiazepine detected in 2023, surpassing clonazepam, which dropped to the second most prevalent. The bromazolam metabolite alpha hydroxybromazolam was added to AEGIS testing in September of 2023, and in the fourth quarter of 2023, its detection, which is shown in dark blue, was second only to bromazolam. Unlike detection of clonazepam and its metabolite 8-aminoclonazepam, which remained fairly steady throughout 2023, detection of flualprazolam and its metabolite alpha-hydroxyflualprazolam, shown in shades of rose, significantly decreased throughout the year, causing it to drop to fourth most prevalent designer benzodiazepine in 2023. Etizolam and its metabolite alpha-hydroxyetizolam, shown in shades of lavender, were third most prevalent but had an overall decreasing trend in detection. The prevalence of other designer benzodiazepines detected in 2023 is shown here. Flubromazolam and its metabolite alpha-hydroxyflubromazolam, shown in shades of hot pink, were the fifth most prevalent designer benzodiazepine detected in 2022, with detection occurring throughout the year. However, in 2023, other than in January, detection was very minor, occurred only in 7 months of the year, and not at all in the fourth quarter. This decrease may be anticipated with the scheduling of flubromazolam in December of 2022. Conversely, flubromazepam is not currently a controlled substance under the CSA. Flubromazepam is shown in the bottom of the graph in dark blue. In 2023, it became the fifth most prevalent designer benzodiazepine, being detected in all months but July. In September of 2023, its metabolite 3-hydroxyflubromazepam, shown in blue, was added to AEGIS testing. Its detection in the fourth quarter of 2023 alone exceeded that of flubromazepam detection for the entire year, thus demonstrating its utility in detection of flubromazepam use. Adanazolam metabolite indesmethyl-adanazolam, shown in lavender, was detected in 9 months out of the year, with the highest detection in Q1 and Q4, making it the next most prevalent designer benzodiazepine in 2023. Deschlorotizolam, shown in yellow, was first detected in February of 2022. In 2023, although detection occurred in 9 months of the year, the prevalence of deschlorotizolam in 2023 was half that detected in just the second half of 2022. And metizolam detection in 2023, shown in turquoise, was the highest in January and occurred 8 months out of the year. The prevalence of top synthetic cannabinoids detected in 2023 is shown here. MDMB pinaca and its butanoic acid metabolite, shown in the graph in shades of blue, were the most predominant synthetic cannabinoid detected at AEGIS in 2022, and its predominance continued throughout 2023. In April of 2023, the Federal Register issued a notice of intent to temporarily place MDMB-4E and pinaca in Schedule 1 of the CSA. However, this has not yet seemed to impact its detection. 4-fluoro-MDMB butanaka metabolites, shown in shades of rose, were the second most prevalent synthetic cannabinoid detected at Aegis in 2023. In the first half of 2023, detection of ADB butanaka and its metabolites, shown in shades of orange, surpassed that of 5-fluoro-MDMB EMB pica and metabolites, shown in shades of lavender, to become the third most prevalent synthetic cannabinoid detected at Aegis. ADB butanaka and metabolite have been detected every month since they were included in Aegis synthetic cannabinoid testing in August of 2022. In 2023, 5-fluoro-MDMB, EMB pica, and metabolites dropped to fourth most prevalent synthetic cannabinoid detected at Aegis, with metabolite M7 being detected the most frequently. And its detection was highest in the first half of the year, with very minimal detection in the second half of the year. The prevalence of other synthetic cannabinoids detected in 2023 is shown here. The next most prevalent synthetic cannabinoid analytes detected were 5-fluoro-MDMB, Pinaka, shown at the top of the graph in shades of blue. Detection of metabolite 2 and metabolite 7 fluctuated somewhat, but was fairly consistent through the first 3 quarters. In the fourth quarter, mostly in November, detection increased significantly, but returned to prior levels by December. ADB Fubiata and metabolites, shown in shades of rose, were newly added to Aegis testing in August of 2022. In 2023, detection of ADB Fubiata and metabolites was highest in the first quarter, but decreased the remainder of the year, with some months not having any detected. The prevalence of the top synthetic stimulants detected in 2023 is shown here. Eutalone, a synthetic cathinone, was the predominant synthetic stimulant detected through the fourth quarter of 2021. However, the prevalence of eutalone began to decline in 2022, and as eutalone declined, detection of pentalone increased to become the most prevalent synthetic stimulant detected in 2022. Now, pentalone was added to Schedule 1 of the CSA in 2017, and since it was a controlled substance, the increase in detection was suspected to be due to its being a metabolite of the novel synthetic stimulant N,N-dimethylpentalone, which was added to Aegis synthetic stimulant testing in August of 2022. In the second half of 2022, N,N-dimethylone and its metabolite pentalone were the most predominant synthetic stimulants detected, followed by eutalone, and this trend continued in 2023. In August of 2022, N-cyclohexylmethylone was newly detected, and its detection for the remainder of the year was at such a frequency that it became the fourth most prevalent synthetic stimulant of 2022. Now, N-cyclohexylmethylone was detected throughout 2023, with the exception of March and November. In July through September, its detection exceeded that of eutalone. However, its overall prevalence for the year was less than that of eutalone. Other synthetic stimulants detected in 2023 are shown here. Alpha pyrrolidino isohexanophenone, or alpha PIHP, shown in hot pink at the bottom of the graph, was overall the third most detected synthetic stimulant in 2022. However, although it was detected throughout 2023, with the exception of March, its prevalence in 2023 dropped to fourth most detected synthetic stimulant behind N-cyclohexylmethylone. The next most prevalent synthetic stimulants in 2023 were trifluoromethylphenylpiperazine, or TFMPP, and 4-fluoromethylphenidate. TFMPP, shown at the bottom of the graph in dark green, was detected in 9 months out of the year. 4-fluoromethylphenidate, shown in the watermelon red, was also detected in 9 months of 2023. Its detection was slightly more in the first half of the year compared to the second half. The next most prevalent synthetic stimulants in 2023 were alpha PHP, shown in the middle of the graph in blue, alpha D2PV in lime green, and butalone in navy blue. Each of these had somewhat different detection in 2023, with butalone being detected more in the first half of the year, alpha D2PV being detected more in the second half of the year, and alpha PHP being detected more throughout the year. Lastly, the prevalence of hallucinogens and dissociatives in 2023 is shown here. 2-fluoro-deschloroketamine and its metabolite 2-fluoro-deschloronorketamine first appeared in Aegis testing in April of 2022. 2-fluoro-deschloronorketamine, shown in maroon, became the most prevalent hallucinogen dissociative compound detected in 2022. In 2023, it remained the most predominant, being detected in all months except January, and with greater detection in the second half of the year compared to the first. The second most prevalent hallucinogen dissociative in 2023 was the PCP analog 3-hydroxy-PCP, shown in the mustard color, which was detected in all months except December, with greater detection in the second half of the year than the first. 2-fluoro-2-oxo-PCE, shown in the coral color, was added to Aegis MPS testing in September of 2023 and was so frequently detected in the fourth quarter that it nearly reached the prevalence of 3-hydroxy-PCP, becoming the third most prevalent hallucinogen dissociative compound detected in 2023. Deschloro-N-ethylketamine, shown at the top of the graph in blue, was newly detected in 2022, but was only detected in May. In 2023, it was detected in all months except June and July, and detection was greatest in the first and last quarters of the year. And that concludes our webinar. I would like to thank you for your attention, but before we wrap up, I want to tell you how to get in touch with us for additional clinical support. The individuals pictured on your screen are my colleagues, the clinical scientist team of Aegis Sciences Corporation. You're welcome to direct questions to the phone number or email address on your screen. The information covered today is also available in written form, accessible on our website, www.aegislabs.com. Go to Resources, then Clinical Update. Thank you for joining us today. I hope this has given you additional insight into MPS detection at Aegis in 2023. Have a wonderful day.